we are live. Welcome to the Friday evening Sangha that we have. We're reading from and discussing on the basis of the subjective evolution of consciousness. And we're broadcasting at on the order of Śrīla Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Mahārāj, trying to be of some service to the servitors. We're here at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga, Gandharvika Giridhari Ju. And we have our today's panel here. Let me bring them on. Dandavats Arun Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. We have Sangeeta ji. Namaskar Sangeeta ji.
Namaskar Prabhu, namaskar.
And we have Sripad Chinmoy Dev Prabhu also. My Dandavats to you, Chinmoy Dev Prabhu.
Dandavats everyone.
And we have Nand Kishore Prabhu also. Namaskar and Dandavat to Nand Kishore Prabhu as well. So we'll begin with auspicious invocation, Mangalacharan. So please join in if you can. Otherwise, in a meditative mood, you can simply listen. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sacha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivashakhanvitam Sacha Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Guru Abhishta Shapurakam Guru Ganera Shisha Sambhushitam Chinta Chinta Samasta Vedanipunam Shri Rupa Panthanugam Govindabhidam Ujjalam Vartanam Bhaktyarmitam Sundaram Vande Vishwaguruncha Divya Bhagavat Premno Hivijpadam Devam Divyatanam Suchandravadanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavarnam Vairagya Vidyambudim Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhaktilasitam Saraswatanam Maram Vandetam Shubhadam Madeka Sharanam Nasiswaram Śrīdharam Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gaudiya Guruvanve Bhata Bhanuriva Prabhat Gagneyo Gaura Sankirtane Mayavadati Mingilo Dragatan Udhritta Jivaniman Krishna Prem Sudabdigahan Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tam Bhaje Namo Gaura Kishoraya Bhaktavadhuta Murtaye Gaurangri Padma Bhrangaya Radha Bhavan Shevine Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Sudhanidim Gaura Prajashita Sheshaira Vaishnavaira Vanda Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Premabdhim Vidya Vaishnavam Vancha Kalpataru Bharscha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Mahavadanaye Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namah. So I want to welcome everyone, welcome all devotees, Vaishnavas, servitors, Dandavat Pranam to everyone, and also humble namaskar to all the friends and well-wishers of Param Guru Mahārāj's and Gurudev's divine mission. All the sincere seekers and everyone else is welcome, and we are going to try to be of some service to the Vaishnavas and to you. So today is a really auspicious day. This is an auspicious time actually of the year. We're in the middle of Navratri, Sharada Navratri. There are 4 kinds of Navratris. And this particular one is the most auspicious. It's considered the most auspicious out of the all 4. It's in this is called the post monsoon September October season, Ashwin, in India. And Navratri essentially means 9. Nava means 9, and each day an aspect of the Lord's energy is celebrated and revered. And on the 10th day we celebrate Dasara, which is Dashmi, and on that auspicious day Lord Ramachandra won the battle against Ravana and his armies. So that is in brief, what is going on right now. I believe today is the 7th Navaratri. So we have 2 more and then Dasahara. And then after that will be 11th day, which is Ekadasi. So that's how it is happening. In Markandeya Puran, a more vivid description is given of the aspects of material nature and the 9 particular aspects. There are many more, but these 9 is given, and in stotras there are Kavach, Argala and Kilak. Those are the most prominent stotras for the Shakti worshippers. And in Markandeya Puran, they are actually they are explained what these are, the 9 aspects. So you go Prathamam, from Brahmacharini, Dvityam Chandraghanteti Kushmandeti Chaturdakam, Panchamam Skandamate, Shashtamam Katyayani Ticha, Saptamam Kalaratriti, Mahagauriti Chashtamam, Navamam Siddhidatri, Navdurga Prakritita. This is Prakriti. So Prathamam Shailaputri, Dvityam Brahmacharini, Trityam Chandraghanteti, Kushmandeti Chaturtakam, Panchamam Skandamateti, Shashtamam Katyayani Ticha, Saptamam Kalaratriti, Mahagauriti Cha Ashtamam, and Navamam Siddhidatri. So the 9th aspect is the granter of perfection. So Navamam Siddhidatri, Navdurga. This is Navdurga. And it is called Durga Saptashati from within Markandeya Puran, where Markandeya Rishi has given this. And there are many more. These are and within that embedded are potent bij mantras, which unfortunately the tantrics misuse, because they want to own the energy, but they don't want to acknowledge the energetic. So that's going on. But that's material energy. And I just thought it was important. It would make sense before we get to our business of the day. And today, what we're reading is chapter number 3 of Subjective Evolution of Consciousness, and the title is Consciousness and Evolution. So if the panel permits me, then I can begin.
Yes, Prabhuji, please do.
All right. So this is this is Param Guru Mahārāj now. This is I'm reading. Prakriti, the material nature, does not evolve consciousness like fossilism. But on the other hand, both are within consciousness. There is no necessity of movement for the soul here. The soul is inactive, indifferent, passive in this enjoying plane. That is another original conception. The soul does not take its place in the negative side. It is meant for the positive side. But accepting that the soul is in the background, prakriti or material energy, the body works on its behalf. The relationship between body and soul is like the relationship between a minor and its false guardians. It is something like what happens when the proprietor of an estate is a minor and the managers take advantage of his youth to loot and enjoy the estate. The Baddhajiv soul is in the minor's position. The soul cannot control these revolting managers. The five senses. He need only have the contact of a major soul. With the help and guidance of the major soul, he can subdue his managers and gain mastery over his own property. A fallen soul's position is like a minor proprietor. He is helpless. He is doing nothing. The managers are doing everything using his own resources. They are doing everything in the name of the proprietor. The soul is inactive, non-cooperating. But the body, mind, intelligence, and false ego are working on behalf of the soul, the real ego, as if he were on their side. Did you get that last part? But the body, mind, intelligence, and false ego are working on behalf of the soul, the real ego, as if he were on their side. But if his real interest inside is roused by a major soul who is connected with Paramatma and with Bhagavan, then the soul will find his own field there. He'll control the senses and mind and utilize them in the service of the Lord. He'll say, everything is for Krishna, not for me. So Krishna says, Sarva dharman paritajya mamaikam sharanam raja. Give up all your duties and come to me. And your present duties, good or bad, whatever you can conceive from your present position, give up everything and come straight to me. I am everything to you. This is Krishna consciousness. Krishna is telling us, you belong to me. You are my property. Just as you can say that you are master of any property, so you are my property, my slave. That is the truth. And by accepting that truth, we will live in a higher plane. We will be the gainer. We will come into our normal position. At present, in an abnormal position, we are suffering from thinking, I am the master, the monarch of all I survey. But that ego is our worst enemy if we are to progress in devotional service. And service to Krishna is of different varieties. There is service in general, and then there are services in a particular type. Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. And then there are also divisions according to whether devotion is calculative or spontaneous. In this way, there is a hierarchy in the development of the devotional condition. The highest development is Ujjvala Rasa. Ujjvala Rasa means superfine, the brightest, surpassing all, where we find Krishna in consorthood without any consideration of any law. Autocratic consorthood. And this particular nature and behavior is described in a book written by Rupa Goswami titled Ujjvala Nilamani. The first part of devotion is given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In that book, from the very beginning of an ordinary civilized religious life, Rupa Goswami takes us up to different devotional relationships. Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya Rasa. But the details of Madhurya Rasa, the highest relationship with Krishna, has been described by Rupa Goswami in Ujjvala Nilamani. Nilamani, Krishna, in his highest luster, Ujjvala. Nilamani is consorthood. And what are Krishna's characteristics? How does he play with his paraphernalia in the Madhurya Rasa? That has been described in detail in Ujjvala Nilamani. Even the greatest literary scholars are dumbfounded to find how divine love has been analyzed so finely and elaborately in this book of Rupa Goswami. Subtle points have been analyzed, organized, and distributed in that book. And the great scholars become dumbfounded when they come to such statements as Bhagavatam says, Muhyanti yat suraya. In the introduction, Bhagavatam gives this warning, this caution to the scholars. You will all be dumbfounded when you attempt to come to this plane. Scholarship will not allow you to flourish here. The nature of that plane is so mysterious that even great scholars won't be considered fit to enter there. Only the surrendered souls can enter. Only the surrendered souls can understand and feel these subtle points of devotion. Outsiders, who remain objective inquirers and researchers, can't have any entrance here. It is the super subjective realm. The super subjective realm. That plane is above even the plane of the soul. And to understand this, we must first inquire about the soul. First there is mind, mana, then intelligence, buddhi, then soul, atma. The soul is evergreen. It does not die. Soul is eternal, constant. It is said in the Upanishads and in the Gita, if once we can meet our soul, then a diametrical change comes in our life. At that time, we will be astonished to realize, oh, such a highly qualified thing is here within me. In ignorance, I was considering that this perishable body and this flickering mind was my true self. But the material senses and mind are all trespassers. They have some inimical tendency towards my true self. Without these unnecessary material things, I can live. No food is necessary for the soul from the jurisdiction of this material plane. The soul is independent. What a wonderful existence I have. In reality, I am soul. And the nature of soul is so noble, so high, so good. A diametrical change of consciousness comes at this point and one tries to enter into that higher realm. Spiritual reality is what is necessary for us. We are soul, we are independent of matter. We are made of such transcendental existence. Nothing can threaten the soul's existence, nor the atomic bomb, nuclear war, lightning, thunder, or earthquakes. All the troubles of this material world are limited to this body, which is a foreign carcass, a concocted representation of my true self. My true self exists on the spiritual plane, on a higher level. If we can really have a touch of that realization, a glimpse of our own identity, if we can feel within that the soul is independent of matter, then a revolutionary change will take place within our minds. Then our attempt to progress in spiritual life becomes quite genuine. Otherwise, our progress is suspicious, doubtful. We grasp it intellectually and think, yes, let me try. I'm hearing, of course, that I have a good prospect in spiritual life. By my intelligence, I can follow something. Let me try. But progress on the intellectual plane is only hesitating progress. When one comes to the plane of one's own soul, however, one will find one's self and realize, here I am. At that time, all false conceptions which have been held for so long will vanish like a dream. They will all be finished, and one will think, I am to start a new life. And the new prospect will open to make progress in the higher plane. Soul is nearby. We can try to find out what the soul is if we can eliminate the material elements. This is the process of the Upanishads and is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Indriyāni parānahu. This is chapter 3, verse 42. First, we are to understand that our senses are primary. If my senses are removed, the entire world of our experience is nothing to me. Only through my senses can I be aware of the existence of the outside world. Minus senses, eyes, ears, no world is apparent to me. Then, above the senses is the mind. What is the mind? The mind deals with acceptance and rejection, sankalp vikalp. In other words, the mind thinks, I want this, I don't want that. It deals with attachment and hatred. The mind determines who is enemy and who is friend. This is mine, that's yours. If we want to understand the mind, we have to look within. To inquire within. What is that element in me that seeks friends and avoids enemies? Where is he? Sometimes the mind is apparent. Then other times it is hiding. I must find out where the mind exists. Of what substance is it composed? By analysis, I can understand what aspect of my inner self is the mind. Then, having some idea of what the mind is, I may analyze that part of me which deals with reason, the intelligence. Where is the intelligence? When the mind demands something, the intelligence says, don't take that, don't eat that. By introspection, I may look within and find out, what is that principle in me which reasons? Where is that fine thing? What is its nature, its substance, its existence? We shall try in our introspection to find it out substantially. If that is possible, then the next step will take us to the soul. What is that soul which makes possible the intelligence, the reason by which we act, which prompts the mind to want and also gives our senses the power to connect? Thank you. Power to connect with things. What is that spark of knowledge? Where is that soul within me? What position does it hold? I want to see it face to face. then in this way we can evaporate like lightning all the misconceptions of the body and mind. By finding the soul through introspection, we may experience the lightning touch of realization. At that time, the whole world will be turned into a diametrically different line, and we shall see things differently. Oh, this material life is undesirable. These senses are enemies in the garb of friends. If I confront them now, they say that I may have an honorable friendship with them, and that without them I can't live. But it is all a hoax. From a realization of the soul, from the point of that wonderful knowledge, one may come to see the ocean of knowledge. One may begin to see what is in the subjective area and hanker for how to come in connection with that divine realm. At that time, the very trend of one's life will be changed. And a total change will come in our search, in our standard of prospect in life. And our search will take a concrete shape in devotion. In this way, we must begin our search after the higher sphere. And how to enter there? It is the opposite of this plane of exploitation. In Milton's Paradise Lost, Satan said, "It is better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven." But we shall experience just the opposite. It is better to serve in heaven than to reign in hell. To serve in heaven is highly superior than to reign in hell. The question of energy and power is important in the mortal world. But in the constant and eternal world, this sort of energy has no value. That plane is composed of eternal substance. It is not like this troubling plane which is always breaking, always disappearing, always disappointing, and full of treachery. That divine plane is constant. Life goes on there without any need of food, rest, or medicine. There is no need of the labor to earn bread in that higher realm. All these things are not necessary in a plane of reality where everything is permanent and of eternal value. All these problems which are making us madly busy are easily eliminated in one stroke. That is the nature of that plane. And if we realize that we are members of that plane, then the question becomes, what do we do? How to approach the higher realm? That will be our problem. We cannot force our entry there. We must be granted a visa. We cannot master that finer realm. We must allow ourselves to be utilized by it. In other words, we must come to the position of slavery. We shall have to realize that mastership here in the mortal world is a curse, and the slavery in that higher world is a boon. And the Bhagavatam will help us in our progressive march towards that higher plane. Nashta prayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyottama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. The impure, undesirable things within us are going to almost completely vanish, almost disappear by our serving association with the Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotee. sadhu and shastra. In this way, the continuous connection with Krishna consciousness comes out from within. The interrupting elements that result from renunciation and enjoyment vanish, the covers vanish, and the continuous flow within, the connection with pure Krishna consciousness, comes out. There are two covers: the exploiting tendency and the renouncing tendency. Karma and Gyan, the exploiting spirit and the tendency for knowledge that leads to liberation. They are not proper elements of our soul, of our real entity. They are only covers. And by our serving association with the Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotee, they are uncovered. And the continuous flow of Krishna consciousness within comes out. Nishtha means nairantaja, continuous. Ādau shraddha, tatah sadhu sangota bhajana kriya, tato nartha nivritti syat, tato nishtha ruchistata. When the covers are removed, then we find that inner continuity of flow with Krishna connection within us, and Naishtiki Bhakti appears. That is completely clear, cleansed. Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Then on the basis of nishtha, that is, the continuous flow, then further progress is made on the positive side. Asakti, attachment. Then bhav, spiritual emotion. Then prem, divine love. In this way, the inner aspect of devotion will gradually come out, and we shall be able to dive deep into reality. As we give up the external covers and we experience what may be considered as death in the external world, die to live, we shall enter into the inner side more and more. Question. Chinma Prabhu, you were wanting to say something?
Were you talking to me?
Yeah, I thought you were wanting to say
Oh,
something.
I was just pointing.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Question. So someone's asking a question here of Param Guru Mahārāj. Says, this verse says, Nashta prayeshvabhadreshu, that the impurities are almost destroyed. Why not completely destroyed? Śrīdhar Mahārāj. That means it happens gradually. The gradual development is described there. Nashta prayeshva means when the stage of nishtha comes, when all the undesirabilities are almost finished, then we can have a real peep into the thing. Just as before sunrise, when there is twilight in the early morning, the sun is not there, but the darkness has been dispelled. The darkness has been mainly removed, but the sun has not yet risen. In the same way, the Bhagavatam is describing how bhakti develops gradually. Nashta prayesh, it is not finished immediately. There is a gradual process of sadhana, a means to an end, and gradually, slowly, according to the capacity of the devotee and the endeavor, the sadhana, one's bhakti develops. When darkness is almost finished, the non-gentle, abnormal, exploitative symptoms like the mean attempt to exploit the environment gradually disappear. And in this way, gradually, we make further progress. It is not that all of a sudden, in one stroke, everything is cleared. Rather, according to our bhajan or sadhana, our attempt the undesirable elements will gradually vanish, go away. And by different stages, we shall reach the goal. These stages have been described by Rupa Goswami as follows in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Adau Shraddhat Tatah Adu Sangotha Bhajan Kriya Tato Nartha Nivritti Syat Tato Nishtha Ruchistata Asaktis Tato Bhavas Tata Premabhya Abhyudanchati Sadhakanam Ayam Premana Pradurabhave Bhavet Krama. In the beginning, there must be faith. Then one becomes interested in associating with pure devotees. Thereafter, one is initiated by the spiritual master and executes the regulative principles under his orders. Thus, one is freed from all unwanted habits and becomes firmly fixed in devotional service. Thereafter, one develops taste and then attachment. This is the way of sadhana bhakti, the execution of devotional service according to the regulative principles. Gradually, spiritual emotions manifest and intensify. Then finally, there is an awakening of divine love. This is the gradual development of love of Godhead for the devotee interested in Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami says that Nishtha means continuous connection. After Nishtha, the mundane negative side is eliminated, and then in the positive side, we may make progress. Then after this, there are the higher stages: Asakti, Bhav, Prem. Within Prem, there are also different stages: Sneh, Man, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav. In this way, bhakti develops to the topmost plane, Mahabhav. Mahabhav means Radharani. That topmost intensity of bhakti which is not found anywhere else is found only in her. That is called Mahabhav. In this way, bhakti, divine love, develops in different stages up to the highest level. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajakacarya Varda Stotra Sata Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣhak Śrīdhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai. So, Arun Prabhu, any reflections?
It's always nectar and so much to learn from Śrīdhar Mahārāj, which is, then everything makes sense. The way he says that. It's just my dull mind requires a lot of repetition to internalize or even understand how it is all connected as one.
Chinmoy Prabhu, any reflection?
Well, it just makes me think about when our gurus are talking about the scientific method of Krishna consciousness. Here it is, like bit by bit by bit. It's like an actual real science. And he clearly lays it out. This path. This should be in the science class. Almost.
Jai. Arun Prabhu said last time, and thank you, Chinmoy Prabhu is also saying it. I think not just in the East, it should also be in the West also. Everywhere. It is so scientific. That's why the difference between philosophy and darshan, this is darshan.
Yes.
This is whereby a given process, along with the philosophical, you can say, conclusions, a process is given where you can verify it. So this, in ordinary philosophy, there is no verification process. So it's mostly speculative conjecture and discussion at best. Here, there is a set process, scientific process, as Chinmoy Prabhu said, that we can verify it. One has to become a student, a sincere seeker, and just follow process. So the next and the next one is the next chapter is the plane of misconception, which we will cover next time. That's chapter number 4. But day after tomorrow is going to be Dasara, I think, right, Arun Prabhu? So we may. What is day after tomorrow?
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Well.
No, it'll be Monday, right?
Monday. Okay, well then.
No, Sunday.
Yeah.
So maybe on Tuesday, when we're doing Chaitanya Charitamrita, maybe we can have a little Dasara discussion on Lord Ramachandra's pastimes and remember it that way, if it's agreeable to you.
That'll be wonderful, Prabhuji.
Diwali's on Monday or Tuesday?
No, that's Dasara. Diwali is exactly 20 days after Dasara. So Dasara is on. Abaji, when did you say Dasara?
Dasara?
Huh.
Sunday को आप बोल रहे थे ना वो?
Sunday. So it's on Sunday. Sunday is.
Sunday.
25th. So 1, 2, 3.
So 10th.
It should be on 14th, November 14th or so. Deepavali. 20 days. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm wrong, but somewhere there.
14th, yes, correct.
Right? Yeah. 14th should be Deepavali.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is on 14.
That's what I was thinking. Well, just exactly calculate just 14 days, just 20 days after the Shara. And you will get Deepavali. So on Tuesday, maybe we will have a little discussion and on Lord Ramachandra. So if anyone has like offerings or wants to say, you can prepare a little bit and then we can get together and everyone can get like time and we can share with each other. So Namaskar Preeti ji, and let me get the elite, the EKG team, and I'll be right back. Give me a second.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Advaita
Hariharaya Namah Krishnaya Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Giri Giri Dhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunath
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath
Ichhai Gosai Kori Charana Vandhan
Echa Gosai Kori Charana Vandan
Grahite Vignana Shabishta Puran
Jahan hote Vignana Sadhishta Puran
Ichhai Gosai Jar Muitara Das
Echa Gosai Jano Karada
Tasabhara Padarenu Mora Panchagras
Satsvara Padurin Panchada
Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sane Bas
Andhra Karana Sevi Bhakta Sanebhai
Janame Mora Abhilash
Janam Janam Mara
Ichhai Gosai Jame Braja Koilabas
Echa Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas
Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash
Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Kata
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaiya Man
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Jayana
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koriyas
Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Das
Hari Nam Sankirtan Kore Sandar
Hari Haraya Namah Krishnaya Davaya Namaha
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshvaya Namaha
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya
Jai Gauranga Sundar Jai Gauranga Sundar Jai Gauranga Sundar Jai Gauranga Sundar
Jai Gauranga
Any volunteers for Jai Dhwani? Take it away, Anika.
Gopi Laju ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Mahamsha Purchakara Varsa Tata Shishmad Bhakti Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Mahamsha Purchakara Varsa Tata Shishmad Bhakti Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Mahamsha Purchakara Varsa Tata Shishmad Bhakti Sanata Swasti Chakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishwacha Kosroda Sabji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishwacha Chachirana Bhakti Vinoda Chakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishwacha Jagannath Babji Maharaj ki jai. Sri Palu Guru Varga ki jai. Namaskar Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ananta Kuti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Ye Baldev Vibhushan ki jai. Shiva Vishwanath Akwasi Prabhu ki jai. Shri Nortama Sharma Mandir Shivashnachar Prabhu ki jai. Shiva Vindravana Thakur ki jai. Satkavraj ki jai. Saprasada Shri Nityananda ki jai. Saprasada Shri Mahaprabhu ki jai. Jai Shri Shiva Krishna Gopa Gopinath Ramakunda Bharata Nageda Govardhan ki jai. Shri Lakshmi Vardhava ki jai. Shuddha Bhakti Vigna Vinashara Shri Nrsimha Deva ki jai. Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Tuti Mahani ki jai. Ganga Jamuna ji ki jai. Vasa Rasan Bhagavatam Chaitanya Mata ki jai. Vishwa Vaishnava Prasada ki jai. Across Matri Chaitanya Mas ki jai. Sadhya Sakha Mas ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mas ki jai. Vishwa Kabila Sadhya Mas ki jai. Sri Damayapur ki jai. Sri Jamnabadi ki jai. Vrindavan Purushottam Dham ki jai. Sri Baladeva Subhadra Jamna ji ki jai. Sri Govinda Kunda ki jai. Sri Shri Shiva ji ki jai. Sambeta Vaishnava Mandal ki jai. Sambeta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaur Pramanande
Hari Hari Bol. Shri Anika ji, Preeti ji, Bikram ji ki jai. Shripad Arun Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Shripad Chinmadev Prabhu ki jai. Sangeeta ji ki jai. Nandarani Didi ki jai. EKG team ki jai. Abba ji ki jai. All the devotees ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrind ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Sannasi Vrind ki jai. Gaud Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Sripad Jairam Prabhu ki jai.
So let me end the